Hello guys. It's currently 2:40 a.m. and that is when I'm supposed to sleep already. I'm supposed to sleep at like 10:30, but it's fine. So what I was gonna speak about was the difficulties of being an immigrant. And I get that that's just it's not that difficult for me, of course, being like I've moved here for quite a long time. Right? Like I've been here for like fucking like so many years now. More than a decade. So what I have to say is basically what I keep saying basically. What I have to say is I was recently at the gym and I was speaking to this guy, right? And we were just talking about the burdens, the difficulties of being an immigrant. Like, man, being a adult in this current like in this current economy is genuinely just what's the word for it? So damn cruel. I was gonna say like insufficeable, but I don't think that's a word that I can use confidently. So I'm gonna search it up right now. No, it is not a word. So what I just said has been made redundant. So living in this current economy is genuinely so difficult for so many people in the world right now. And why is my camera so damn blurry, dude? It is so damn hard right now because first, let's talk about the cost of education, man. Because for international students, and hey, hear me out. Alright, I'm pretty fucking against most international students as well, by the way, because let's be real, there are so many damn fucking pretentious international students who just like take education for granted. Alright, let's talk about all those little fucking China boys. Yes, I'm Chinese too, with their little fucking Rolexes and shit and their MacBooks. I have a MacBook too. That's normal. Alright, that's normal. But you don't make education seem like it's a fucking right. It's a fucking privilege. Alright? Because these guys, right, they come up, they don't learn. I don't want to sound like Bob Catter or anything, dude. Right? I don't want to seem like a racist because that has already been like brought up quite a lot. Like recently, there's been some debate whether I'm actually a racist. So like me posting this shit, this will get me in a lot of trouble. But honestly, you can choose to disagree with me or not. You know, this is just my opinion. I'm just here to voice my opinion. There are so many international students coming to the country, right? I'm just in class recently and they're just fucking on World of Warcraft, dude. They're just they're just playing their little fucking games, doing fucking nothing. Alright, that's not a problem to me, but it definitely is a questionable, like, their activity is questionable. Alright, me having to watch, like, I'm trying to study. These guys are just, I don't know, man. It's a bit demotivating. And then, worst of all, right, they refuse to speak English. You've moved to a country that speaks English. The primary, my nose is fucked because I got punched a lot in sparring today. Um, so that's a bit embarrassing. But you gotta think like this, right? You move to a country, right? Country's here. There's your country, right? This country speaks primarily English. Its main language, its mother tongue is English. This country speaks Chinese. Okay? And I'm not gonna be like, oh, one of those like whitewashed Asians going like, oh, you're fucking like, oh, you just don't understand because you're not like fucking Asian enough. 我会说中文，我能明白他们在说啥。问题是 here's the problem, alright? The fact that the whole process of immigration is meant to be challenging. It's not easy. Bro, you think people just give out fucking visas and permanent residencies to people who don't work for it? Yes, the current, like, system is all based off the point system where you can just fucking, like, you can have a bachelor's, you can have, like, education, how many people are coming, and it all adds up in points, and see whether you can apply for skilled immigrant, to be a skilled immigrant. Nice. Good for you. However, the fact that people can get into this country do fuck all and just vape in class do fucking nothing, dude. That disgusts me. Right? I I came from I can't say a poor background because that's just not true, but I came from a background that is built on hard work. All right? Everyone in my family, I think they've earned what they had today, apart from maybe my sister. But she's not gonna see this, so fuck you, cunt. Um, oh, I'm so disrespectful. Um, yeah. So I feel like, what's the point, right? And they're like, yes, if you're rich, honestly, like, good for you, man. Fuck off. Good on you, man. If you're a nice bloke, you've moved to the country and you're doing your World of Warcraft in class and puffing those fucking vapes, good on you. I don't care. That doesn't mean shit to me. What does mean a lot to me, right, as someone that falls into the category that I'm about to speak about, right, is the family that do all they fucking can to move their children into this country to fucking avoid the violence that happens back home, the stress, the pressure. Alright, let's talk about Chinese culture real quick, alright? I never got to experience it properly education wise. However, I've experienced it in multiple other countries because I'm a multi immigrant. So, obviously, we know about the Chinese Gaokao, alright? We know that. It's one of the hardest tests, widely considered the hardest test in the world, where millions take it. Some people even take IV drips to fucking stay locked in during their studying. Okay, yes, your parents moved you from the most difficult test, the most fucked up study routines, to a country where you only have to study at school for, alright, let's talk about my school schedule, right? Our school started at 8:50 every morning, 8:50 to 3:15, I believe. That's not a lot of time. And then you take away 1 hour for lunch and another half an hour for recess. That is quite a lot of time, though. So basically, what I'm saying is, school is so much less difficult in Australia than it is in China. But they still, the second they move to a whole other country, they take it for granted and they just believe, oh, the money that my family is sending from fucking a, well, China. This is a hard debate, alright? They say whether China is like a fucking is a developing country or a developed country, right? Well, China has all these technological advances that would maybe classify them as a developed country. However, that's not the entirety of the country. Yes, most of it is developed, I would say. Well, the mega cities, obviously. We can talk about Shanghai, Chongqing, Chengdu, all this. Why am I saying it in a fucking like white accent? Shanghai, Chongqing, Chengdu, all these cities, mega cities, amazing, beautiful. I love China, but a lot of other cities, right? We can talk about. Let's talk about where I'm from, right? My family, we're from Jiangsu, which is another province. It's known for its capital, Nanjing, which used to be the capital of China, and uh, there's a lot of history to that city. Um, yes, that's a nice city. That's also considered probably a mega city. However, in that province, widely considered as the second richest um province in China behind Guangzhou. Wait, did I say that right? No, Guangdong. Fuck, I sound like an idiot. I should really pause this. But there, I come from the second richest province in China. But even then, there is still so much farmland. There is so much like there's so many like places that are just so far behind compared to the mega cities, right? Now, we compare that to Australia, where we can talk about Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide. Yeah, I'm naming pretty big cities, dude. They're all roughly the same. They're all pretty developed. Maybe we can talk about Victoria's countryside, Horsham. We can talk about fucking Inverloch, Nargoon. Guess what? The problem is they don't live in fucking slums. I'm not saying China is exactly slums, but living on a farm full of, or like living on a factory, you know, that's not the usual, lifestyle of a developed country. Now, I'm kind of getting off track, but these people, right, their parents would pay so damn much to move their child to be that 1 in 14 Chinese student to go overseas, right? To go to 1 in 14. I forgot where that statistic is from actually. 1 in 14 students that go overseas to Australia, I'm pretty sure is Chinese. I believe I saw that on BTN network behind the news. Um, however, uh, um, uh, I feel really embarrassed if I get that statistic wrong. These people who aren't from those rich backgrounds, from like, you know, Shanghai or like Guangzhou, those people who don't have that money, that wealthy background where their parents probably own multiple factories or some sort of industry that makes millions. Well, that sucks. It doesn't suck that your family doesn't make a lot. It sucks that their children go overseas, try to get an education, and waste that privilege, waste that money, where their parents are sending 40% of their fucking income to their child so that they can live a good life, be prosperous, and study well, and have a great future, and hopefully give back to their parents. That sucks. That pisses me off so damn much. Because tell me why, right? These people, instead of trying to work their way into society, they choose to spend that 40% of their income on, well, let's talk about the cost of education, right? With a scholarship at uni, 50% scholarship, that is still around $10,000. Now, if we were to turn those $10,000 into Chinese renminbi or Chinese yuan, that would be 50,000, I believe. I believe it's 50,000 Chinese yuan. Now, if you search up average annual salary in China, now that's probably going to come with a city like Shanghai or like Beijing, and their wages would probably be higher. 124 fucking thousand yuan. Now we take away 50,000 from that. That leaves us with 74,000 yuan. Now, that's just education alone. Let's talk about cost of living. Hmm? You can't even fucking rent a fucking apartment for less than like 300 Australian dollars per week. Do you know how fucked the cost of living crisis is in Australia? Let's talk about the budgetary policy, monetary policy. They're not doing nothing right now to actually help these fucking immigrants. Yes, they do help the local citizens, but the immigrants, not as much. And as we all know, these East Asian countries like Japan, like China, like Korea, they're having a declining positive. Let's draw this. They're having earbud. They're having a declining population. All right. Australia has a goal by 2050. They want their population to go from 26 million as it currently, or 27. I think it's 27,200,000. I think that's what it is right now. All the way up to 50 million by 2050. That is in 24 years. In 24 years, the population seems to double. And if we're considering how, like, the average house prices in Australia is usually at least, well, no, in Melbourne at least, is usually at least like 1.5 mil. That is not true. Depends on the suburb. Because we can talk about, like, I don't know, western suburbs, and that's probably below 1 mil. But from where I'm from, eastern suburbs, right? I'm gonna dox myself. But at least from my suburb, the average house price is 3.2 million. I look like a chud. I get that. But that's a lot of fucking money. Alright? And no, it doesn't really affect me. Actually, it kind of does, because my dad kind of has a business in China. So it does, right? Because currently, the Australian dollar to Chinese dollar, it's not looking very favorable for the Chinese dollar. That kind of sucks. Because my home, well, all three of my homes are under mortgage. So, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. Not, not really for me, because I'm just a teenager experiencing this from a third person perspective, I guess. However, back to the mainstream topic. Useless fucking immigrants. Nah, joking. That's I can't say that. That's very rude. Immigrants that take education for granted. Immigrants who take immigration for granted. You are the scum of the fucking earth. You fucking disgust me. Oh no, I'm gonna get cancelled for this. I'm so racist. Oh, they're alright. No, but like I have a point though. You have to see this. Right? You have to understand somewhat. It's not okay to waste your family's money on shit that doesn't fucking matter. To look superficial, to look pretentious, to look arrogant, to be buying fucking what? Okay, let's talk about vapes, bro. Let's fucking talk about vapes, okay? 250 Chinese dollars for one vape in Australia right now. And it's only going higher. So, like, these kids are spending their parents like fucking, well, if you're from the countryside, their parents' weekly fucking earnings on a fucking flavored air stick. That's not great. But what's worse, even if you are rich in China, you're spending your parents' fucking daily salary. They probably worked a 12-hour fucking shift for it. For a fucking flavored air stick that lasts you fucking nicotine fiend, 1 week. Imagine you're from that poor family, and guess what? That fucking nicotine stick. Yeah, the money that they've just been sending you, that took a week for them to fucking earn. You've spent it all on one fucking flavored air stick, and it's gone. And then the next week comes, they send you another week of like their entire earnings. Another fucking flavored air stick. What am I gonna get this time? Kiwi pineapple ice? Fucking hell, bro. That's actually degenerate activity. Now, I'm not fucking Andrew Tate. I'm not clavicular. I'm not fucking another, like, literally any of those fucking, like, degen fucking, like, motivational guys on fucking TikTok, alright? I'm not even Greg Truchet, bro, alright? Like, I'm not in no place to give this advice. But I am here to give my opinion. I'm here to voice my opinion. Not, like, I don't care if it's known, but it frustrates me, you know. It it sucks, right? Because again, this is like kind of background about my life, but I'm not trying to make the whole problem about me, because like you know, I'm just another person in this fucking 8 billion population fucking world. So what I'm trying to say is, the fuck is that? Get that off my table. Um, Half my family is from rural China. The other half, rural, no, urban China. Right? This the dispersion between the two is actually quite massive. My mom's side grew up on a farm. My dad's side grew up in a normal home. Right? That's quite a dispersion. But here's the thing: to know that my mom's side had to work so hard to go from her tiny little city, it's called Huangqiao, to Beijing to go to university, and then apply for a skilled immigrant visa to move my family into Australia. That is quite impressive. And also, my mom, like, this is, I don't know if this embarrasses her at all, because I think she takes pride in it. But she came from the poorest village. But in that poorest village, in the entire city, she came from the poorest home. That's rough. That's already difficult enough. Like, my mom grew up practically in slums. Right? Like, at night, if you wanted to read, study, or anything, get a candle lit. My mom sold blocks of ice with fucking sugar on them as her first ever job, whilst my first ever job was at a fucking kindergarten. How, like, look at the disparity between me, who lives in an urbanized city and first world country, to my mother, who sells blocks of ice in a fucking wooden box and a cloth wrapped over it. I think the fact that I get to live this life and I'm not even successful whatsoever, it's such a privilege. It is honestly an honor. um, so when I think about, well, obviously now there's not many people selling blocks of ice and wood, but there is still a bunch of factory workers. There is still a bunch of 90-year-old workers working in factories and sewing machines. I plan to retire by 60, maybe even 50. They're fucking 90 years old, limbs barely working, moving around like fucking one of Vecna's test subjects. And they're still working on the sewing machines. Now, I get that there's the westernized thinking of, oh, if I'm working till old, my brain stays active. My brain allows me to fucking function properly. I get to prevent myself from having Alzheimer's, dementia. Wonderful. However, there's simple fixes to that. Do math. Do Sudokus, man. Seriously. Go play fucking bingo. Literally, any sort of brain activity could help you from that. Not fucking working around in a fucking, like, sweatshop for some fucking 40-year-old fucking, like, Cuban cigar addict in their factory that's, like, probably filled with fucking dust mites. Dude, are we being dead ass? That's not healthy. That's just called, you have so much to pay off in life, and the cost of living is just that fucked. Get fucked. um, so all I'm trying to say is, you need to really value how hardworking your families are. Even if they're not, they if they do help you financially whatsoever, it should always mean a lot because you should never take it for granted. You should never take what they do for you for granted because maybe in a few years they might not be there for you and you have nothing to fall back on because you spent all of their money and your savings on LV bags, flavored air sticks, cigarettes, you know, MacBook Pro Max, you know, iPhone 17 Pro Max, which I have one by the way, fun fact. um, or like $4,000 gaming PCs or even just gaming laptops. Like, maybe instead of that, go find a fucking job in the country that you live in, you know? Because when you have nothing to fall back on, you just keep falling. And man, that was corny as shit. But technically it's true. Because, like, if you really picture, right? Like, oh fuck, what am I doing? Picture this balancing beam, right? This guy, he's getting knocked over. Bang. He's falling, he's falling, he's falling, he's falling. Oh, he's fucking down on the ground. There's nothing he can do. What if there is no ground? What if it's a fucking another hole? Like, you're cooked. But what I'm saying is, this is endless, dude. I could talk about this for an hour, but like honestly, I don't want to make a video for more than 30 minutes. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not easy, and you should. Well, if you fall into the category of poor international student that is pretentious and pretends that they're rich and lives a fake life, yeah, go fucking lock in, cunt. Seriously, you're a fuck up. You're actually a fuck up, dude. You are a fuck up if you don't fucking put in any effort in life, and your family's already struggling, and you're not doing great in anything in life, and you spend all of their hard work. I'm gonna keep talking about flavored air sticks, dude. Who, as a guy who's formerly addicted to them, all right, when I was like fucking 13 years old, dude, like they're overrated. All right, yes, the spin is nice, but they're too expensive. First of all, and also they just obviously it's a nicotine product. It's extremely fucking addicting. And the fact that you spend, I'm just rambling now. I'm not gonna repeat. But education is such a privilege because that is your fucking. I'm not gonna say go join my fucking e-commerce club. Go do my fucking um. Join my fucking fraternity. Join my drop shipping class. No, no. But when you think about this dark, dark hole, right? Picture this dark hole. No, like it. Why am I making the Illuminati? Um, Picture this black hole, right? And you're falling into that. Fuck! It looks like I'm fisting someone. Okay, you fall. No, you. Good thing I have scotch tape. Um, Another fucking Q-tip. You're falling into this fucking hole, dude. And then the only thing that's there to pull you out is either, which is like really, really like unlikely. You either win the fucking lottery, or get the fuck out, you're set for life. Not even, dude. If you're financially irresponsible, God knows what you can do. Right? There's some people in the world where you just give them money and they're gonna spend it. No matter how much you give, it's always gonna be gone within a week. However, that's not the people that I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about the people that are given the one privilege known as education, the hand that pulls you out of this hole for the potential of getting a job. Because life isn't fair. Get used to it, bro. The one thing that can get you out of this hole is education. The one thing that can get you any chance of, being up to date with the rest of society is your intellect. Either that or become a tradie. Which, fair enough, dude. Become a tradie. That's great. Like good money, dude. You know, hard work, good money, long term health, fucking costs. You know, like you might not live past the age of 70, but that's fine because at least you make money. um, but the main point is like people just take that hand. I'm not even care. I don't even care if it looks like I'm fisting someone at this point. You're falling down, and the hand that's just helping you pull yourself back out. Right? Fuck. Like the hand that allows you to get back out of this shit, to get out of this hole. Now it even looks more weird because it now looks like I'm four fingers someone. But the thing that pulls you out, you're saying no to. So it's just fucking. Oh, that hit my. Oh fuck, that hurt. Um, but the one thing that you're given, you're not even taking it, and it's going to be given to someone else. And to be honest, they're not going to keep you. If you're a lazy bum without money and no fucking education and no stable job, you're gonna get you're gonna get deported. Like simple as that, man. That's my take. That is my opinion on international students. I can't believe I can go 31 minutes talking about this shit. I could go hours and hours and hours talking about how much I hate international students that fucking don't work for anything in their life. But yeah, that's my take, and thank you for watching my video. Thank you. Bye.